In this screencast, we'll learn how to use internal Uniface timer component. UTIMER component is used to set a timer that posts messages to a particular component instance at regular intervals. It consists of a number of operations that can be called from your Uniface application. In this screencast, we'll only use a few, but you can view a complete list of UTIMER operations and their definitions in Uniface Online Help. So what would we use this component for? Well, UTIMER functionality can be used, for instance, to perform certain status checks or a database at regular time intervals. Let's see how this can be done. I'll start by creating a simple Uniface form component. We'll call it demo timer. And on this component I'll paint a dummy entity. Now I'll paint a simple button which we can use to invoke the UTIMER component. In a detail trigger of this button, we need to invoke the UTIMER component. We do this by using the deactivate statement. We start by using the start operation within the UTIMER component. This operation receives a single parameter, which is a time delay in a format of hour, minute and a second, and we'll set this time to 3 seconds. This basically means that the UTIMER is going to be returning us messages every 3 seconds. Now we need to set the message format of the UTIMER. We can do this by calling the operation called setMessage. And this operation receives 3 parameters. The first parameter is the calling component, where the message is going to be sent from the UTIMER. In this case, it's going to be our newly created demo timer component. The second parameter identifies the message by the message ID. We can call this ID anything we like, and for the purpose of this demonstration we'll call it message. And third parameter is the actual message data that we want sent from the UTIMER. In this case we'll just leave it empty because we don't need any message data to be sent back. Now we'll call setRepeat operation of the UTIMER. This operation sets a repeat count for the UTIMER component, meaning how many times the UTIMER component will send us the message. We leave it at 0. 0 means it's going to be unlimited repetition of these messages coming back from the UTIMER to our component. This could be an integer. Now we'll create a second button to stop the timer. And in the detail trigger of this button, we'll simply call an operation called stop. This operation does not have any parameters. So let's revise. We start the UTIMER and we set the time delay between the messages to be 3 seconds. Then we set the message ID within the timer and notify the timer to which component it needs to send a message to, and we've set it to unlimited number of repeats, which basically means that the UTIMER is going to keep on sending messages until we stop it, which we do from the stop time by clicking on the stop timer button. Now we need to see how this works, and for that purpose we'll paint the output box widget on our component. We'll call it out FLD. We'll make it C star. We'll use this field to display the messages that are coming from the timer. Obviously, in real life, you'll use this to check the status or perform certain functions or call different operations or check the database, or etc. etc. Once we've started the UTIMER will be sending messages to the component we told it to send messages to. In this case, it's going to be the calling component. When the message arrives, we can identify it by the message ID. So we can say if the message ID equals message, which is what we use the set message for, we'll set the value of our output box widget to saying, let's say, message that the message was received from the UTIMER at a certain time interval. Since these messages will be arriving every 3 seconds, we'll be getting one of these lines, we should be getting one of these lines in our field every 3 seconds, and for that reason we're just going to introduce a line break. So let's see what happens when we run this component. We'll first compile it, and we'll start the timer and just wait. We should be seeing messages appearing every 3 seconds. And we are. You can check the timestamp in our outbox widget field. Now we'll keep receiving these messages every 3 seconds until we stop the timer, because through set repeat operation we set this to run unlimited number of repetitions. So we'll now stop the timer, and as you can see, the messages have stopped. This concludes our demonstration.